Well, good morning. Blessing. I'm glad that you're here with us today as we continue our chronological read through of Scripture. So far, we've been reading through pretty much nonstop action in the book of Genesis. But at this point, we're going to move to the more contemplative mood of the book of Job. It's difficult to know exactly when Job lived or when the book was written. Um, in a way, that's as it should be. You see, Job is a man for all time. You see, his experiences, the suffering that he experiences, and so on, those are common to us all. And the questions that he asks, they're common to us all. We're going to assume that Job lived near the time of the patriarchs, near the time of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. If you recall, we just left our readings with the introduction of Abram. So that's why we're moving to Job at this particular point in time. He may have even lived a little bit before that. The reason that we believe this is, number one, Job's great age. Whatever his age was when this account starts, we're told that he lived another 140 years after God restored him. So clearly, he lived much longer than people did after the time of the patriarchs. The other reason that we believe that this may have been early on is because of the way Job sacrificed. It appears that Job is offering the sacrifices not only for himself, but also for his children, which would indicate, number one, that there isn't a temple yet, and that number two, the Mosaic law about how these sacrifices are supposed to take place does not yet exist. So for those reasons, we believe that Job was pretty early, or at least that's the understanding that we're going to move forward with. The other thing is it might prove to be a little bit harder to keep our focus on what's happening as we read through Job than it was as we were reading through Genesis. I mean, after all, Genesis was a sequential story as it was moving along. Job, not so much. But today, we're going to see how the devil questions Job's faith. See, the devil accuses Job before God, and he basically says that Job trusts God, believes in God, because God's treated him so well. And if he would just take those blessings away from Job, that he would curse God. Well, God allows the devil to do this, to take the blessings away from Job. But Job does not sin. He does not sin with his mouth. He does not curse God. So the devil ups the ante a little bit now, and he says, well, if you were to actually afflict Job himself, if you were to make him fear for his life, then he will curse you. So God allows the devil to do just that, and Job is afflicted directly, and he becomes quite ill. But still, Job does not curse God. Three friends come to join Job, which is a good thing for them to do, and they're appalled at the condition that they find Job in. Actually, they're in so much grief that they sit down with Job for 7 days and say nothing. Finally, Job speaks out. And he does curse, but he doesn't curse God. He curses rather himself in the day that he was born. Next, Eliphaz, one of Job's friends, replies, and he suggests to Job that he has sinned greatly, and that there is some sin that he has to confess, and that's the reason for his suffering. Eliphaz speaks eloquently of the greatness of God, but he doesn't seem to have any room for the idea that suffering is a part of God's plan for his people. He notes that no one is righteous on their own before God, which is true enough, but he fails Job by not saying anything about how God justifies the sinner. So really, Job is left with no hope. Eliphaz believes that God will eventually rescue Job, but only after Job confesses whatever this great sin is that he has committed. You see, Eliphaz's theology of glory doesn't seem to have any room in it at all for God's theology of the cross, the suffering that Jesus went through, the suffering that we also go through. That will end our reading for today. Tomorrow we're going to hear Job's reply to Eliphaz, and then we'll hear what Bildad, one of the other friends of Job, has to say as well. May God be with you, bless you. I look forward to spending time with you again tomorrow.